cannot kill a god.
Yo, welcome to an Elden Ring build that will make your journey through the lands between a breeze. Whether you're trying out a new playstyle or stuck on a tough boss, this build is for you. We will cover what you need, how to get it, and how to effectively use it. Let's dive in. Quickly, let's go through some of its strengths and weaknesses. First, it's extremely safe. You'll have plenty of flasks left. It's high DPS with bleed, which is viable against most all bosses. Third, minimal dodging needed. You can breeze through the game straight up just casually without having to dodge. And importantly, it's fun. This is the most fun I had playing Elden Ring, period. For the weaknesses, which I find very funny, it's Malenia, straight up. She heals from attacks, which counters this build entirely. The second weakness is that bleed immune bosses take forever to kill, like the Elden Beast, since the main DPS is bleed based. Luckily, there are not that many of them. Let's quickly go through the items you're gonna need. First of all, Moore's armor and great shield. Why it's good? Because high defense and poise. How to obtain it? Look for Moore in front of Cleanrot, speak with him, break Mikola's charm by going to the cathedral area, and then talk to him again, exhaust all his dialogue, and choose the remain sad forever option. I know this might be heartbreaking, but this is the fastest way to get the shield and armor at an early stage. Collect all of his items from this area, and upgrade the shield to the max for better guard boost. The Clean Knight's sword, it is the longest range thrusting sword and has the highest damage, and it scales up with arcane and strength. All of that fits in perfect, and it will allow you to shield block and thrust and do damage at the same time. How to farm for it? Outside the prayer room side of grace in the Halleck tree, look for the Cleanrot Knight and farm it repeatedly till it drops. Level up the sword to the max and change its affinity to blood. Malenia's Great Rune. Why it's good? Because of its effects. Attacks made immediately after receiving damage will partially recover HP, offsetting the HP loss from the blocking we do. It is literally the perfect rune for this build. However, it is hard to get, and it reduces the amount of health you get from your flasks. With the amount of healing you will receive and your tankiness, the latter will not be an issue, and if you don't want to kill Malenia just to get the rune, you can use any rune you want. It's not a big deal. How to obtain? Simply defeat Malenia, open the chest in the Tower of Return in Weeping Peninsula to teleport to the Divine Tower, and then just straight up activate the Great Rune there. The Wondrous Physique, the Opaline Hardtear, which boosts damage negation. It is really great, a no-brainer since we're gonna be a tank build. The second option is the Crimsonburst Crystal Tier. Now, this might come off as a surprise to you because you never see people use this one. It heals you 7 HP per second for 3 minutes straight. This is the perfect tier to use for this build because it counters the chip damage you will take while blocking. With this build, trust me, it shines a lot. Let's talk about the talismans. First, the two-headed turtle talisman. It greatly raises stamina recovery speed by 22.2%. This is great so you can stop blocking for a little bit and get all of your stamina fast and go back to block poking. It is the perfect fit for this build. The second talisman is the Great Shield Talisman. It boosts guarding ability. So this is also another perfect fit to get more of that stamina back when you're blocking. Third, the Pearl Shield Talisman. This boosts all non-physical damage negation by 20% while guarding. This talisman is great since you're blocking at all times. However, change it if the boss is using physical attacks only. The fourth talisman is the Great Jar's Arsenal. Vastly raises maximum equip load. The build we will go for is very heavy, and this is a must so you don't waste a lot of stats on endurance, especially when we're going to be medium rolling with all of the weight. Let's quickly touch down on stat distribution, because I feel like this is very important. 60 endurance. We're treating endurance like it's a main stat for this build, because it is. This will increase your stamina by a lot, which we will need when we're blocking. It will also increase your equip load so that you're not fat rolling. Pairing it with the Great Jar, you will be able to medium roll and avoid the boss grab attacks, which is one of the weaknesses in my opinion if you spec only to a tank. 60 endurance will make the build very tanky, but also agile so you can dodge if you need to. 50 vigor. You really don't need more than 50 vigor. It is fine. You'll stay alive. You'll have a lot of flasks left. Health is really not a problem with this build. You can even risk it and drop a little bit below 50. 40 strength. This is simply a must to be able to wield the Great Shield. 13 dex. This is also just to meet the minimum requirement to be able to use the sword. 60 to 70 arcane. This is to increase that bleed buildup since it will be your main damage, which works wonders on almost all the bosses in Elden Ring. This is how you use the build to approach a fight. It's very simple. First, drink up your flask immediately before you hit to the boss. You can add up to it a crab for that 20% damage negation. Simply block, keep your shield up, and face incoming damage. This is very important. Don't dodge, you really do not need to. Just block at all times, all attacks, unless it's a grab attack. And at the same time, just poke with your sword while you're blocking to deal damage. Stack bleed and heal with the flask and Malenia's Great Rune while you're straight up just tanking. When your stamina runs really low, just stop moving, stop blocking so it regens fast. Ideally, you should do it when the boss finishes a combo. That way you're not stressed. Sometimes it's okay to let the boss stagger you, unless it's an NPC that goes for a riposte, then it will be a problem, but most of the time it's not. But try to avoid it. Thanks for watching. If you found this build helpful, don't forget to like, sub, and hit that bell for more Elden Ring content. Leave a comment with your thoughts on the builds, or what would you change about it. See you next time. Peace.